Okay, we're still early. We are still early. Let's see. Watching on Instagram. Hi guys. Oh my God, I cannot. I'm trying to figure out um, the chat situation to see who's chatting. Yeah. Anyway, welcome guys. Welcome. I'm like, I can't see. I don't know why I can't see the chat. If you are watching from Instagram Live, report to YouTube. We're about to get into this amazing conversation that I feel like we should be having. I'm gonna have to get Amir to. I can't see you guys chatting. Are you guys chatting? Let's see. This sucks right now. I had everything like together and planned out, and now I can't figure out why I can't see the chat. All right, it's okay. It's okay. I'm gonna have to use my cell phone. Anyway, welcome guys. Welcome to V Girl TV. If you are logged in on YouTube, on Instagram, make sure if you want to comment, if you want to chat, you're gonna have to log into YouTube. Okay, here we go. I can see you guys. Finally. Okay, if you are watching on Facebook, unfortunately, I cannot see your Facebook comments. Mhala, please don't start. Please do not start. I got my sister on Instagram Live. Anyway, guys, so we are going to dive deep. I know that there are some people that already started commenting in regards to what today's topic is going to be. Let me know if you can hear me in the chat, please. I don't want to start talking and then you guys can't hear me. So let me know if you can hear me. For the people who are watching, who are listening, I'm sorry, on the podcast, I'll try my best to include you guys. I know you'll be receiving this late. Okay, great. Bree Stewart, yes, perfect. Okay, so guys, you already know what this video is about. If you don't know, we're going to talk about how expats are becoming part of, I don't want to say that they're becoming part of the problem, but how can we prevent expats becoming part of the problem of gentrification in Panama? I know that there's been issues in the past where locals were complaining about certain areas being influenced by gentrification. I know they didn't say the word gentrification, but that's pretty much what it is. The reason why I even wanted to even talk about this topic is because I want to share this with you, this screen. All right, so this article, I know you guys can see this article from the New York Post. And this article is about Mexico City residents are angry about the influx of Americans speaking English and gentrifying areas. Okay, so the title is Mexico City residents angered by influx, wow, of Americans speaking English gentrifying areas. Okay, I know I did come across an article similar to this on Travel or on Instagram where they were talking about it. So for the people that are listening in and can't see the article, I'm just gonna go ahead and read it to you, and then we're gonna dive deep, because although this is in Mexico, this definitely does affect Panama. Okay, because the same thing that's happening in Mexico is the same thing that is happening in Panama. So it says an influx of Californians and other Americans has made its way to Mexico City, angering some locals who say they are gentrifying the areas, according to report. The Los Angeles Times report on Wednesday outlined how some Mexican locals are fed up with the growing number of Americans, many from California. Sorry, guys. Okay, I don't know. I don't understand why my sister's videoing me right now. Sorry. Many from California moving to and visiting the country, which has contributed to a rise in rent and shift from Spanish to English in some places. New to the city, working remotely, flyers popping up around Mexico City reportedly said, "You're a effing plague, and the locals effing hate you, leave." The articles outline how Americans have brought a sense of new wave imperialism as taquerias and corner stores have slowly transformed into coffee shops and Pilates studios. English is also reportedly becoming more prevalent as more Americans are moving to and visiting Mexico City to take advantage of lower rent and the ability to stay in Mexico for 6 months without a visa. We're the only brown people, Fernando Bustos, a 38-year-old writer and university professor, told the Los Angeles Times, "We are the only people speaking Spanish except the waiters." Bustos later posted a video on TikTok saying that the influx of Americans stinks of modern colonialism, and nearly 2,000 people responded in agreement. Mexico is a classist and a racist. Bustos added, "People with white skin are given preference. Now, if a local wants to go to a restaurant or a club, they don't just have to compete with the rich white Mexicans, but with foreigners too." The articles also pointed to social media posts outlined where young Americans said, "Do yourself a favor and remote work in Mexico City. It's truly magical." The tweet received many responses. "Please don't," one replies. "The city is becoming more and more expensive every day, in part because of people like you, and you don't even realize or care about it." So, I mean, you can go, I don't want to read the whole entire article. If you are interested in reading the article, I will leave the article in the description box for you guys to see it or to read it. But the reason why I'm even bringing that up is because this literally can affect. This can affect many people here in Panama as well. I mean, for me, I am the best of both worlds. Okay, I know what it's like to live in America and be raised American, but I also know what it is to be Panamanian and also raised in a Panamanian household. So I understand both sides to this whole story. And I know a lot of people are moving especially African American people, people of color, are leaving the US and migrating to places like Panama. And we also are having issues with gentrification in our own neighborhoods. I know specifically because I'm from Brooklyn, and Brooklyn is going through a major gentrification crisis, okay? And how do we prevent that from happening? How do we not become what we are running from, right? Are they on reparations? I don't know. Okay, let me put it up so you guys can see. So Isaac Roper wrote, okay, he wrote, we can hear you. Mountainside said clearly. I don't know what that means. And Shrun says, are they on reparations? I don't know what that means, what you mean by that as well. If you want, you can clarify that. But we have a comment from Nandi. She says, greetings, great topic to discuss, especially for us indigenous beings. I'm going to be looking. If you are watching on Instagram, make your way over to YouTube, okay? Big Girl TV on YouTube, so you can join the conversation. I do have a couple of fellow Panamanians on Instagram right now that I would love to have them come in on YouTube to give their opinion on this, because I don't want to speak on behalf of anyone, although I may have some insight. I didn't say anything was wrong with gentrification. We're just having an open dialogue. Okay, let's just put that on the screen. I did not say that I had a problem with gentrification. We're having an open dialogue so that we don't become what we are running from. I don't know if you are from the States. I'm not sure where you are from, but many people are leaving. Many people are leaving the States for issues just like this, because obviously you know what is going on in the US, right? There are issues going on with the US, but also people are leaving because it's not affordable anymore. And the reason why the US has become a place where it's not affordable anymore is because of things like gentrification. So we're just having an open dialogue. There's really no right or wrong answer for this. One of the things that I do want to say is, not now, but later on, we're going to have to talk about how we don't become a colonizer. Because essentially, that's how people view gentrification. Okay? Okay, he says, sorry, probably off topic because I'm just getting to know what's going on in Panama, but I was asking, is there reparation talk in Panama? No, reparation talk is only in the US. Only in the US. Good evening. Good evening, Lizzie. Christy, entra en el live. Yo siento que usted debería venir en este live porque tú tienes bastante información. Entonces, mete en este live, sal de aquí y mete en el canal de YouTube. Yes, so I think one of the problems with gentrification, I mean, it is also this is all personal, okay? This is your personal feeling. This is my personal opinion. It can either go good or bad. There are negative effects to gentrification as well as positive. They've been gentrifying Brooklyn for about 30 years. Yes, exactly. They have been gentrifying Brooklyn for about 30 years, but it's now coming to pass where you can actually see it. I was just in Brooklyn a couple of weeks ago, and to see the effects that gentrification has or has had on certain neighborhoods is kind of disgusting. I mean, it has its positive, but it has its pros and it has its cons as well. I think one of the things about gentrification that is a major problem is that it causes people to be displaced, right? So people who have been living in certain areas for years at a time, all of a sudden they can't afford local rent. Yes, perfect. Christy is in the line. Y también en el Caribe. Yes, gentrification is happening everywhere. Okay. Yep, folks had to run. Okay, let me put her comment up here. Liz Z says folks had to run out of Brooklyn. Exactly. So people had to run out of Brooklyn because they weren't able to afford the neighborhood anymore. Okay. A lot of people are displaced. They don't have any place to live. A lot of people don't have homes. Um, the school system has now been mostly geared to the wealthier class and people who have money, and kids that were born and raised in those areas, all of a sudden they don't have access to that type of public school system anymore. And although all that is happening all over the world, I do see it happening here in Panama as well. It's happening in Mexico. It's happening in Portugal. It's happening in other areas where a lot of Americans are moving to in hopes of being able to afford a better lifestyle. I think when it becomes a problem is when you go into other people's countries and you start forcing your personal systems onto them. That's when it becomes really an issue, right? I know in this article, people were talking about how they pretty much don't want the colonizers there anymore. Not my words, those were the words that was in the article. You can refer back to it at the beginning of this video because I don't want anything to be taken out of context because I know how you guys really be trying to come for me, okay? Anyway, okay, how do we not become the colonizer, right? Because obviously we cannot be colonizers because we are people of color, okay? I'm sorry guys, we do not have the ability to colonize anything. If you hear pots and pans in the background, I apologize. I think that is my son trying to get something to eat. Anyway, yes, in Antigua, Christy also says in Antigua, that has also been an issue. But Black people, people of color, we cannot be colonizers, right? Unfortunately, when we as Americans, okay, and I use that loosely, we as Americans go to different countries. Hold on, guys. Let me just close this door because I don't want you to hear the noise in the background. Sorry, guys. Okay, I'm back. Anyway. All right, so I think it becomes an issue, okay, because I think we as people of color, especially if you're coming from the US, we are not everybody, okay, but we are treated as second class citizens. So when we go to these other countries, we don't experience the same magnitude of negativity, I would say, that we would experience in the States. And sometimes we subconsciously don't even realize that we're doing it, right? One of the things that you should not do, and I'm going to repeat this because I know I already said it, is do not force your laws, okay, on to these people, okay? Once you move to another country, you have to literally respect the laws of these other countries. We can't expect to come to Panama or go to Bali or go to wherever and expect the same rules to apply. America is a very liberal country. Okay, there are no lines. There are no guide. Literally, everyone does whatever they feel like it. Okay, there literally is no laws to me. Okay, in the sense of anything goes when it comes to certain things. And this is why a lot of Americans have issues when they're traveling abroad because they think that every place else is like America, and it is not. Okay. I'm going to give you an example. That girl, Jada Amora, I don't even remember her name, little baby mother, right? The gun laws in America are pretty much a free for all, right? So she flew from Atlanta to Jamaica, okay, in a private jet, and she had a gun. She goes to Jamaica and she gets arrested for gun possession, right? They were going to lock her up, obviously. She has to see a judge, whatever. At the end of the day, she paid her way out of it, but it could have went down really, really bad because of the fact that many Americans do not, and this goes for Black Americans and white Americans, you think that every place else is like America, and it is not. Okay? So that's one way that gentrification could affect what's going on in Panama. Okay? Liz Z wrote, and I'm going to read it out loud because this is going up on my podcast as well. If you are on Instagram, tune in on YouTube because you can comment if you're on Facebook or Twitter because we are streaming live on Facebook and Twitter as well. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to see your comments. You would have to come in on YouTube, right? Okay, so Liz Z says, greed is fueling this as well. Land that was reasonably priced for 2 to 3 years ago is now 10 times that amount. Correct. But are we talking about what's going on in the States or what's going on in Panama as well? Because honestly speaking, the cost of living in Panama has tremendously increased due to gentrification as well. Okay? 10 years ago, the cost of a house was like $50,000, $60,000. Now houses are going for $250,000 depending on certain areas. And one of the moderately lower houses, the ones that cost a little bit lower, are going for $80,000. So, with that being said, yes, gentrification is affecting the US, but it's also affecting Panama as well, for a lot of you people who are trying to move here. So Liz B says, I follow folks in Africa and Portugal. And so what was their experience like, Liz B? I'm so thirsty, guys, and it's like super hot. Another thing, while Lizzie comes up with what she wants to say, another thing that affects the locals when it comes to gentrification is that Americans have a tendency of doing this. And I know this because I have a cousin that does this all the time. Every time she comes to Panama, because she doesn't speak Spanish at all, right? So she comes to Panama and she goes to restaurants and she'll just start speaking in English. And it's not even the fact that she doesn't know how to speak Spanish, it's the fact that she's not even trying, okay? And that is an issue right there because this is a Spanish-speaking country, okay? Do not come here and try to impose your language on others. Yes, there are people that do speak Spanish, that do speak English, I'm sorry, but this is a predominantly Spanish-speaking country. So I know in some expat communities, they kind of keep among themselves because of the language barrier. And it's like, okay, well, if you're moving to another country, obviously you should know the language, or even try to learn the language, in my opinion. You mean Panama City, right? Because there's still 50K in the interior. I'm definitely not talking about the interior, but even for the interior, $50,000 is still a lot of money. $50,000 is still a lot of money in the interior, okay? $50,000 may not be a lot of money for us because we are coming from Western culture, but $50,000 is still a lot. Okay, and that's what happens with gentrification because for locals, maybe $50,000 may be a lot to them, maybe they can't afford it, but you're coming from the outside and for $50,000 for you may not be nothing, and then you come into these countries and you're flaunting your wealth, may not always go so well. Okay, we're just having a conversation, guys. I'm not for or against it. I'm just playing devil's advocate. Okay, but Thomas H., I was definitely referring to Panama City though. Maria Campbell says there's only a few places that is currently happening. Boquete, Altos de Maria, Corona. Okay, those are all, which brings me to that. The expat communities, those are all expat communities. So Boquete, Coronado, and Valle del Andon, those are all expat communities. So what happens is those areas are super expensive. Most local people can't afford to live there. Land was around 5K a couple of years ago, now an asking price of 50K. Lizzie, are you talking about here in Panama or are you talking about Africa? Thomas H says facts on the language part. Yeah, I see it all the time. I see it all the time. Sometimes I may be guilty of it. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I mean, no, I don't just go up to random people and just start speaking to them in English. I don't do that. But sometimes, like in my videos and stuff, I only speak English, and people are like, "Hey, why don't you speak Spanish?" So in that sense, yes, I get it. Maria Campbell says the issue with Panama is that we want expats to come. Okay, so this Maria Campbell says that they want expats to. I'm not too sure about that because there was a huge issue with foreigners. I mean, it's a difference if you say expats as if you want Americans to come, or you're saying expats as in other Hispanic countries like Venezolanos, Colombianos, because it is very difficult for those type of foreigners to get legal in Panama. The process is very difficult. I know a person right now who is actually African in Panama, Ugandan, and the process for her to get her papers is ridiculous. For her to become a legal citizen or a legal resident is extremely hard for her. So with that comment, I would just need a little bit more specific. Are we talking about Pan American expats? Because there really is no difference between expats and immigrants, if you ask me. Americans use the word as expat because it just sounds better than saying immigrant, but in reality, it's really the same thing. I may get crucified for saying that, but it's true. So 50K in the interior is too much. Yeah. You have to change your mindset when moving abroad. You have to be willing to assimilate. Americans aren't used to being new immigrants, but you learn by living local saves you. Yes, absolutely. I wish I could like start this comment. Oh yeah, I can't start it. This comment is 100% on the money. I always talk about that in my videos about saving money, because a lot of times people are like, well, this is expensive. Well, this is expensive. I mean, well, if you shop in expat grocery stores, of course it's going to be expensive. But if you shop in local grocery stores and buy local groceries, it will save you a lot of money. Definitely. There's a reason why they're coming to Panama. The Panamanian government wants us. Okay. Morris Campbell says there is a reason why they are coming to Panama. The Panamanian government wants them. Wants who, my love? They want Americans or they want Venezolanos and Colombianos? Okay, I think Morris clarified it here. Well, when we say expat, that is meant for Americans. Got you. I mean, government in all parts of life is government no matter where you go. I'm actually referring to locals, how the locals feel about it, not really the government. I know in areas like Cologne, they are going to experience a major gentrification in the coming years. I'm telling you, let me tell you, you guys don't believe me, but when it does happen, remember I told you first, okay? Remember I told you first. Well, Americans are coming to Panama because they can't afford to live on their retirement in the United States. That's the reason why they're coming to Panama. And that's the God honest truth. If you guys are following on Instagram, follow on YouTube at Big Girl TV on YouTube so you can comment. We're getting juicy over here. any government is going to want anyone that is going to help boost their economy, period. Okay. All right. It says, Morris Campbell said, retired Americans have all kind of benefits as long as they buy land or property. Okay, so this is the thing with that comment. Retired Americans have all kind of benefits as long as they buy land or property. They got the pensionado visa. Look it up. I am very aware of that, but the people that are moving here are not only retired people. Okay, there are a lot of younger people that are moving to Panama. Okay, and they don't have a retirement check or whatever you want to call it. Again, of course, the government is going to want you guys to come here because you're investing in their country. They sell you the land for more money. That's more money and taxes that you are implementing into the country. My nose is running, guys. Sorry. Excuse me. So yes, I am for anyone who's looking, I am very aware about the pensionado visa. I'm very aware. I am not ignorant to that. I am very aware. But the fact still remains, any government is going to want anyone to invest into their country, period. I'm not referring to retired Americans that are able to live off their paycheck. Most of the time, they don't even stay here forever, whatever. But for most people that are foreigners that don't have a retirement check coming from the U.S. Army, to purchase property in Panama as a foreigner, you have to put, I think it's 20% of the cost of the house. So the down payment is a lot larger than if you are a Panamanian. I'm not sure if you are aware of that, but this information is for you. So yeah, so changing your mindset is super important. You cannot come here and have an attitude like, oh, this is America, because this is not America, guys. Okay? And although, okay, some people may feel like, well, Morris Campbell feels like, the government wants them. What about the local people? What about the local people who are living in certain areas and they're paying, let's say, $100 in rent, and now a foreigner who has a sustainable income, like a retirement check, is able to purchase a property? They start building up, and now all of a sudden, the realtors start raising the rent. What happens to the local people? Okay, it says, but most people that are moving into Panama are retired. That is not true. But most people that are moving into Panama are retirees looking for a place they can afford 20% down to get a house. But if you ask me, most houses in Panama are under. I don't know where you're getting this information from at all. Maybe in the interior, but I'm not talking about the interior. I'm referring to Panama City. And it's not true that there's only retirees that are moving here. There are a lot of young people that have remote jobs that are moving to Panama. So that information is false. I am not retired. The local people pay the price. It's called gentrification. Okay, so I'm going to assume, are you for gentrification or are you not for gentrification? Because I don't know by the tone. I don't really know how you're saying it because you're writing it down, but it just seems like you're like, okay, well, that's not really my problem. I mean, you have to literally care about the local people. You're going to be living amongst them. And if the local people it's okay for the local people to pay the price, it's called gentrification, then why are so many, like you said, retired people moving to Panama because of the cost is so cheap? Why not stay in the States and pay the local prices because of gentrification. That's what I'm wondering. And to be very honest with you, most people that are, like you're saying, are retired, they're not living in local homes. They're living in gated communities. Okay. I'm gonna assume that you're for gentrification. Hola, Jenny. Okay, I'm not for gentrification, but that is the price you pay to bring people to invest in a country or a place. Okay, that's a fair. ¿Cómo está? Oye, mete en YouTube, mete en YouTube. Okay, so Thomas H says he's not retired either. I work remotely as well. Exactly. I know a lot of young people that are moving to Panama that are not retired. They work remotely and they're living here because they're able to whatever job they have, whatever income they have, they're able to live on that income here in Panama. That's the reason why they're here. I just feel like this, okay? If you guys are gonna move into another country, respect the locals, respect the culture, understand that not everybody has it, okay? Flaunting your wealth can definitely backfire on you, especially if you are an outsider. If you're a foreigner, I'm sorry. Liz Z says it's a vicious cycle. We're running from gentrification to pass it on to another group of folks to deal with it. Yes, 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 absolutely. It is a vicious cycle, and literally, like, there's like nothing. I can't say that there's nothing that you can do about it because technically, you really can't can't really do anything about it. But I would say if you are going to move here, respect the culture, respect the language, respect the people. Do not bring your US attitude here. I would just say that. Understand that this is just not America. Okay, no matter how many beautiful buildings there are, this is not America. The way they do things is completely different from the way that they would do in the States. And I think, like I said, like a lot of Americans run into that issue when they leave the US and go to other countries. There was a case where there was a couple, they were part of the LGBTQRS, the LGBT community plus. I'm gonna just say that. And I think they went to live in Bali. I don't want to um, give the wrong information, but they lived in another country like that and didn't know that that was illegal. Okay, in their country, in that country. So I mean, it's know the laws before you move there because some things that go well or can you can deal with in the states or it flies in the states, it doesn't fly in other countries. So that's another thing that you guys should think about before you move to another country. Don't try to impose your lifestyle onto other people's lifestyle or to other countries' lifestyle because what we may think deem is okay, another country may not. So that's also an important factor to take into consideration. That should be given, but yeah, it should. But I think Americans, i.e., I'm not going to exclude myself out of this. I think when you grow up in America, because even if you're Panamanian and you were born and raised in Panama and you left and you lived in the States for a certain amount of time, you still have that American mindset. You'll still have certain things that is very American tradition. Um, so I think that when you leave and then you go back, or even just Americans, when you just go into another, we expect things like this because in America, everything supposedly is supposed to run like this. And Panama's not like that, okay? It's very relaxed. Everybody does things on their own time. Sometimes it could be very frustrating, and you will get frustrated, especially when you're coming from the Western world. It can definitely get a little frustrating. But again, it's super important not to impose yourself or your beliefs or the way you do things in the States onto the culture here. It says, Morris Campbell says, it's very simple. Anyone that moves from the U.S. into Panama and is retired or working for any American company will be in great financial advantage of local. That is a fact. Correct. Okay. I got a place in Panama for 200K and some place in the US that could be close for 800K. Correct. But 200K is still expensive. That's what I'm saying. For you, that might not be expensive, but for other people who are making minimum wage, and the minimum wage is what, $500 a month closely, that is still expensive. So Liz says to Morris, it should be a plus, but greed sets in and you'll start to see prices skyrocket. Definitely, you will definitely see that. Oye, te voy a preguntarte, Jenny, si estás en el Instagram, yo quería preguntarte algo, ¿ok? ¿Cómo tú sientes de los americanos viviendo aquí en Panamá? Yo quiero saber tu opinión. ¿Cómo tú sientes? Yes, 200K is expensive for local people. Yes, it is. You guys have to understand, okay? Minimum wage here, depending on what company you work for, is 500. There are people that are making $500 a month, okay? A person that makes $500 a month cannot afford a 200K home. The average person cannot. I'm not saying that there are people who can't afford it, because there are people that can't afford it. But for the minimum wage to be $500 a month, that is expensive. Crazy Geneva, I think that, I don't want to say the name wrong. Two ups, two downs. So Bree said that both used to be like 120K. Now it's 300K. Exactly. Exactly. And this is all because of gentrification. I'm going to tell you guys something. For those of you who are just moving to Panama, but prior to you guys getting here, there wasn't even a train station, okay? The train line was not running. The first train line never ran to Brisas, and people were fighting to not have the train come here, okay? For that same reason. There were plenty of reasons why, but one of the main reasons was because of that same thing, the whole gentrification thing, and people having access to be able to get from point A to point B really quickly. So this is the thing, okay? The government should put a certain control to protect both. There are certain things that the government has put in place, okay? Jobs in Panama goes to a Panamanian first. That's number one, right? There's a cap, okay? So there's a reason why you are not able to make over a certain amount of money. If you work in like call centers, there's a reason why there was a cap that was put to that, okay? And supposedly, okay, this is what I heard. Don't shoot me, don't come for me. But years ago, there was a call center that wanted to come here to Panama. It was a major telephone company. I'm not going to say which one. And they wanted to put their call center here in Panama, and they were going to pay the employees $15 an hour. And the people, the local peoples, were fighting that, saying that they did not think that is fair, that they were making, people in the call center were making more money than doctors, end quote. So take what you will from that information and let that digest. So yeah, so back to what the topic I was saying was answering this question. The government should put on a certain control to protect folks. So that's one thing. I'm not talking about veterans. I'm talking about regular local people. You have to have a work permit to literally work in Panama. Okay, so that goes for even if you're American or not. I'm not referring to retirees. Okay, but you need a work permit to work in Panama. Okay. Also, getting your paperwork or becoming legal here in Panama to be a legal resident the process is very difficult. Okay. Okay. I don't want to say it's difficult. It's not difficult. It's just very, well, not for me because obviously I have a cellular. Okay. But I mean, for an American or someone else, the process of becoming a resident in Panama is very difficult. The immigration process is very tedious, it's stressful, and it's also very expensive. Okay, for the average person, the immigration process is very expensive. In the interior, you can get homes anywhere from 35K and up. In some cases, beachfront homes as low as 75K with beach right out the front door. Again, that is expensive for the interior. Where's Christy? Morris Campbell says, I will give you a tip. In the early 2000s, when Martinelli was president, a lot of Venezuelans moved to Panama and the rentals went up 50%. Should I be honest or should I just be quiet? I don't know if I don't know. You know what? I'm gonna leave that. I'm gonna just not respond to that comment. Nothing personally against you, Morris Campbell, but there's a reason behind that, and it's not what you think it is. But I'm gonna just leave that there. I'm not even gonna answer that. Yeah, citizens should take 10 plus years. It's ridiculous. Okay. What about if you are marrying a Panamanian? Let me just be very honest with you, okay? And everything that I tell you guys are from personal experience, people that I know, or things that I definitely have dealt with. I know a woman, I know someone that is married to a Panamanian. She's from Venezuela. They've been married for about 6, 7 years, and she still can't get her paperwork done. Take what you will with that information. Immigration in Panama is a business for lawyers and corruption. You said it, not me. Morris Campbell said that. Somebody wants to be in my life. I don't know who that person is, pero si la persona habla español, por favor, mete en el YouTube, ¿ok? Si quiere comentar algo, por favor, mete en el YouTube, ¿ok? Ahí está, Big Girl TV, yo estoy en vivo en YouTube. Si quiere hacer una pregunta, si quiere comentar algo sobre el tema de panameños, cómo los panameños sienten de la gente de los Estados Unidos viviendo aquí en Panamá, ¿ok? Ahora, yo quiero saber si usted siente que las cosas son más caras porque ellos vienen de afuera con su plata o es normal, te das igual. Please, chat. If I'm turning over here, guys, it's because I have my live stream open over here and I'm talking to people on Instagram. Entonces, si estás en Instagram, por favor, mete en el YouTube si quieres hacer un comentario, si quieres hablar, si quieres decir algo de tu parte como panameño, cómo te sientes cuando los gringos vienen a Panamá y no quieren hablar en español, solamente quieren hablar inglés. Let me tell you, I know people who live in Panama and they don't They don't have papers. They don't have any papers, okay? They just stay for 3 months, leave, and then come back. That's how they work in the system. Okay, V girl, you have to give them an example. $1,500 a month in rent will get you a damn near penthouse in Avenida Balboa Main Strip. That equals to Upper West Side in Manhattan. You know, I'm trying, okay, to give them examples, but some people, they just don't, like Mama said, them don't take telling, okay? So you just let people be. You just let people be. Let people be. I know someone right now that was renting an apartment in, where was it? I think it was closer to Sotheby's, so it was in San Francisco Barrio area, and they were paying, I think, $1,300 a month for a 2-bedroom, a 2 or 3-bedroom apartment. How many African Americans have you met so far recently down there, Anthony Evans? Okay, so all right, let me give you a little background on me, guys. Okay, I am American, yes, but my background is Panamanian. So majority of the people that I am around are Panamanians. They're local Panamanians. They, or if they are Americans, they are Americans but American Panamanians. So they either are they were born in Panama, they were raised in the States, and they moved back to Panama. I personally don't know any Black Americans, straight Black Americans. Like I said, mostly everyone that I know and everyone that I deal with are either local Panamanians or they are Panamanian Americans. I have came across a lot of Jamaican people, and that's only because of the store that they come into the store to make purchases. But straight up Black Americans, I maybe one or two, but mostly everyone that I know and people that I've come across, they're either from Jamaica, they're from the Bahamas, some type of islands, or they're local Panamanians or Panamanian Americans. That is wrong. You cannot touch anything in NY. I don't know what that is. Okay. Um, dude, Avenida is definitely an NYC. Also, yes, it is. I don't know. Crazy. Okay, I don't even know how to pronounce your Instagram, your YouTube name, but 2 Up 2 Down. You are on the money. You know exactly what you're talking about. So I know what you're talking about. We're like here with it. We're here with it. I know exactly what you're talking about. Guys, if you are on Instagram and you want to get into the topic, jump in on the YouTube channel. Si eres panameño y quieres comentar algo, por favor, mete en el canal de YouTube, porque estoy en vivo y hay gente que está discutiendo y está diciendo que los panameños encanta que la gente de afuera llegue a Panamá, especialmente la gente de los Estados Unidos. So hold on, wait. I'm trying to keep up with these comments. These comments are coming in, honey. Okay, so 2 Up 2 Down said to Morris Campbell, dude, Avenida is definitely on NYC level. It definitely is. It definitely, or even Miami. You want to give it Miami just because of the weather, but I definitely understand where you're coming from with the similarities, though. Dennis said, I'm renting a house there and I have a house being built there. I'm trying not to get discouraged by the paperwork for citizenship. This is what I'm trying. Girl, I know what you're talking about. I know exactly how you feel, okay? That's why sometimes when I hear people saying certain things, I just be like, you know what? Let me just leave them astray and let them just do what they do because for some reason I can't comment in YouTube. Really? All right, what's your comment? I will just leave your comment here and then I'll just say it over here so people can hear it. I really want to get local Panamanians feeling, because I feel like American people, people that come from America especially, and I'm not talking about Panamanian Americans because Panamanian Americans, they understand both parts of the world. I'm talking about, not the world, but both parts of the spectrum. I'm talking about straight up Black Americans or just American people. I think sometimes that we can be very selfish, okay, and not, for you to say, oh, well, that's just how it is. No, you have to be considerate of the local people because the local people are the ones that lived here first. So Panamanians all says, when you come with your money, Panama seems to be cheap. But for locals, it's very, she said it's not expensive. Exactly. I said this, okay? Girl, I am on your side, okay? You know, I understand you. So when people are saying things like, oh, it's so cheap, oh, $50,000, you need to understand that for local people, that is expensive. So about the citizenship and the paperwork, she's getting discouraged about paperwork and says, I understand you, okay? I understand exactly where you come from. I mean, I didn't have to particularly go through that particular issue, but I did have to go through something a little similar with my son and getting my son his citizenship or his residency here in Panama because his father is not Panamanian. So I had to go through all of that. I went through lawyers, okay? I went through lawyers ripping me out of money, all kind of nonsense. So I get it. Panamanian says, maybe selfish isn't the word. It's more like narrow-minded. So the reason why I really wanted to get, and I wish she could comment here in the chat, but the reason why I wanted to get a Panamanian person, a local person's opinion and how they feel is because a lot of times we are Americans live in this bubble where they don't think about anybody else. They don't have empathy for anybody else because they only really care about themselves. And I think that if you are going to move to countries like Panama and you're going to be living amongst locals, unless you're going to be living amongst expats, and that's a whole different story. But if you're going to be living amongst local, have some type of consideration. You have to. So Morris is saying, yes, that is true, but $15.50 will get you nothing in NYC unless it's housing. Well, we know that. New York City is ridiculous with rent, okay? Crazy. I'm going to just call you 2 up, 2 down because I can't. It's more Venezuelans than Dominicans now. Well, now, ever since the U.S. opened up this whole thing for, like, there was like this policy where they were receiving people from Venezuela. A lot of them have left Panama and went to the States, believe it or not. I know a few. Anthony Ern says, one of my best friends is Panamanian. He was born down there, but he was raised here in America. Anetta said, what is your Instagram? It's I am _ V Monroe is my Instagram. My Little Lamb Nursery says, I've heard about that. Yes. Guys, you know, I'm going to always keep it 100 with you guys. I will never fill you guys with a bunch of nonsense. Never. If I don't know something, I'm going to say I don't know. But if I would talk about a topic, it's because I do know a little something. Okay? 2 up, are you talking about pricey or luxury? Okay, they are talking amongst themselves. Danny C, could you always speak Spanish or did you have to learn? Okay, so Danny, my parents are Panamanian. My whole entire family is Panamanian. All my parents, my uncles, my aunts, cousins, everyone is Panamanian. So the Spanish is from my parents, and trust me, my Spanish is not even all that great, child. My Spanish is very machucado, but it gets me what I do what I gotta do, in other words. But yes, my whole entire family is Panamanian. I am from Panamanian background, so that's the reason why I can speak a little bit of Spanish, okay? Woo! Guys, this is really good. Great conversation. Badina Bay says, goals of gentrification is to improve housing and abstract businesses. Unfortunately, pricing out locals of neighborhood, city, states, or nation is a side effect. that privilege usually don't care though. They don't. The privilege don't care. And the reason why I'm a little bit more passionate about it is because, like I said, my family is Panamanian. So I do have cousins and I do have family members that are locals and don't make $50,000 a year. Okay. So I feel for them. Wow, the comments are coming in. Wow, okay. My Little Lamb Nursery says, yes, you need an attorney to process your paperwork. That's what I heard. So, guys, if you are, I just want to drop this little gem, okay, because I don't want you guys to go through the same thing that I went through. If you need an attorney for a trustworthy and honest attorney that you need help with immigration or getting your paperwork done, hit me up. Or matter of fact, her number is actually in the membership tab. You have to be a member though in order to get that information. There's some things that I do have to keep for people that do donate to the channel. So yes, in the membership tab, the attorney is in there. I also have real estate agents that you can work with that are trustworthy and you don't have to worry about them, okay? Because it happens. It can happen anywhere, okay? I'm trying to prevent you from having the same issues that I dealt with. But if you need that information, it is there. If you are trying to get your paperwork done, I do have an attorney. All right. Wise Guy says, remember Panama was about 14 U.S. bases here. In Panama and Colon, when the canal was under American control. Wait. Remember Panama had about 14 U.S. bases here. In Panama and Colon, when the canal, when the canal was under American control. I feel like I'm not reading that properly. Panamanians have a good relationship with you. So are you speaking because you are American? I'm literally reading you what a Panamanian is saying, okay? It says, Americans are conceited because they get special treatment compared to locals. So they feel like there's no need to learn Spanish. I am reading this. I wish she was able to comment here. This is someone that I personally know because again, what's the word? I have a relationship with locals because like I said, my family is Panamanian. And it is what it is. This is actually one of my friends. And she's giving her honest opinion. I'm not making it up. Unfortunately, it's on Instagram Live because she cannot comment. So I'm reading the comments for her. And this is what she said. Okay, these are her feelings. Please respect everyone's opinions. It is what it is. It's an open dialogue. It's an open discussion for all of us to be able to have a conversation. But I also need, if you're going to move to Panama and you are living in Panama, understand where the locals are coming from and where the frustration is coming from, okay? Don't try to dismiss it because it's not your reality. Morris Campbell, okay, so up two down says to Morris Campbell, joking, right? Panama beats NYC in price and luxury. Also, the eye candy for Panama, Colombia, Venezuela, DR, Costa Rica is a plus. Panama is a melting pot with 1 to 2 hour flights. 1 to 2 hour flights from the southern states. Off the topic, B girl, I like to hear you speak Spanish. Why? You guys know that my Spanish is very machucao, okay? Okay? My Spanish is very machucao, but we get it done. I don't really, it is what it is. I gotta speak it because I'm in Panama and I gotta converse with my family and stuff, but my Spanish is terrible. Excuse me. It says everything is cheap till you move there. Yes. Okay, let's see. Up two down says, nope, don't forget that gringos bombed Panama. Morris Campbell says, what I'm saying is you can get a nice $1,500, I'm just saying around $1,500 apartment, but for that money, you cannot get anything in NYC. That's what I'm saying. $1,500 in NYC is going to get you a nice basement apartment in the Bronx with roaches and rats. Okay? That's what that's going to get you. Two Up, Two Down says, well, we all know that. I was talking about the cheap Panama. Bang for your buck. Mexico is getting invaded by gringos badly now also. Absolutely. I think you just came in, but I did read an article from the New York Post about Mexicans complaining about so many Americans invading their place. Panamanian Doll says, and don't get me wrong, I have a lot of family living in the States. I go to the States back and forth, but yes, there's a different perspective. When I speak English, I get better service. So let that sink in. Hello. Okay. I love to get the perspective from local people because when you get the perspective from local people, you kind of get a gist and a sense of where they're coming from, you know? And it's good for us to have this dialogue because that way we won't like, it's just so important to have these dialogues so that we know where each other's coming from and we try to be empathetic to people. Um, so Fenna said, I met a lady that wanted to rent her house to me and my fiance, and she and her family are moving back to the States. A lot of Venezuelans left after Panamanian economy dried up. The Dominicans and Nicaraguans left during the pandemic. Well, they left during the pandemic because they weren't getting any aid, and I don't blame them either. They are Panamanian Americans. Do you know why they are leaving to go back to the States? Panamanian economy is going through a recession right now. U.S. economy is also going through a recession. It is not just Panama; it's a global recession. Okay, it's going through a recession right now. Hopefully, it will improve soon. But right now, you want to invest in real estate. Who should invest in real estate? The average Panamanian should invest in real estate, or should outsiders come and invest in real estate in Panama? Um, I was born and raised in Panama. I know what I'm talking about. Panamanians always have good relationships with Americans. That is the truth. By the way, I live in Panama. I'm just reading to you what Panamanian Doll said. Okay, you guys can have that conversation. I'm only reading what she lives here. She was born and raised there, and that is what she said. I'm gonna read Jennifer. I'm gonna read what Morris Campbell said. I was born and raised in Panama. I know what I'm talking about. Panamanians always have a good relationship with Americans. That is the truth. By the way, I live in Panama. Average Panamanians cannot invest in real estate. Panamanian Doll says the average Panamanian cannot invest in real estate. I said this. Did you ever try Florida before to settle into Panama? I did. I actually was living in Orlando for about 6 months and freaking hated it. Horrible. Um, is your son's Spanish better than yours? Of course his Spanish is better than mine. My son goes to school. He's been here since he was 4 years old. And he has never really experienced school in the US, but he went to like nursery school in the US. So pretty much his whole life is here. So of course he speaks. His Spanish is perfecto, perfect. You are gorgeous. Thank you so much. Let's see. When I was looking to move there, it was hard to determine where to live due to the weather and affordability in real estate. Yeah, definitely. If you're planning, well, I don't know if you still are, but if you are planning to move to Panama, I would definitely come up with a budget plan. And then once you come up with a budget plan, figure out how much you can afford, and then from there, figure out where you would want to live. So, guys, I only have 15 more minutes left. I have 15 more minutes left. Sorry, guys. So it says, yes, I didn't say we don't have good relationship with Americans. I said when I speak English in restaurants, for example, I get better treatment from waiters versus when I speak in Spanish. Okay. Okay, so I'm trying to get through all these comments. There's so many comments, and there's a lot of people that's coming in now. We only have like 15 minutes left, but for those of you who are just coming in, I'm sorry, guys. For those of you who are just coming in, you can catch the replay. So I'm sorry about the phone calls. I hope it didn't affect my Instagram session because it's blinking. Jennifer said they must see money. I guess they think I'm American. Let's see. Okay, so Julian KRUX said, honestly, Panamanians are cool people. They always display warm vibe. I mean, I don't speak much Spanish, but they never made me feel like an outsider. I know because my Spanish is very machucado and I'll be machucando. I'm machucado español and they okay with that. Do they have Popeyes in Panama? They definitely do have Popeyes in Panama, and the Popeyes in Panama is so good. Oh my god, I had to literally stop eating it because I was gaining too much weight. Two up, two down says I lived in Panama. Also, I have friends and family there. I lived at all income levels: Paraíso, San Miguelito, Chanes, Campo Libre, Edison Plaza, Tumba Muerto, and Avenida Balboa. David, yes, they have Popeyes. Yes, got you. Let's see. Um, did they mention why they are moving? They did. They did mention why they're moving, but they were very eager to either rent or sell their house. It's a lot of people that I'm not even gonna lie to you. There's a lot of people that come to Panama and they purchase homes and then they end up ready to leave. And I did a whole video about that, about why expats leave Panama, and that goes for Panamanian Americans also. And a lot of times, what I notice is that elderly people they get sick, and some of the treatments. I mean, although Punta Pacifica has amazing hospitals and Panama has a lot of amazing hospitals, it can get very costly. So, like, if you have Medicare, I think it's like Medicare, like when you retire, they don't, what would be covered in the States for free, where you wouldn't have to pay any out of pocket expenses, it doesn't really happen. It's not the same when you're here in Panama. So, personal experience, like people that I know that lived here in Panama and ended up having to leave and sell their home, it was literally because of medical reasons. Morris Campbell says, thank you. Studies in urban anthropologies help to organize info based on policy, low historical. Okay, I don't know. Let's see. Hey, no, it doesn't take years to get a citizenship. There's a lot of options actually getting citizenship in Panama. It's kind of cheap compared to other countries. It's definitely cheap compared to other countries, but it's still expensive for people from Venezuela who don't have it like that. And another thing that I realized that I found out that I really didn't know, and this happened because the girl who does my nails, she's from Venezuela, and she was telling me that one of her friends moved from Venezuela when she was young, went to school here all her life, went to the university, and then the laws changed, and the degree that she got her, like let's say if she was like an engineer, okay, that's what she studied. The laws changed here in Panama, which they're always changing. She cannot get a job, or she cannot practice her carrera. How do you even say carrera in English? She couldn't. Oh my God, how the hell do you say carrera? Anyway, she couldn't practice what she went to school for because she wasn't Panamanian. Okay, so that's also something to keep into mind. I think when she said 10 years, I think she was being sarcastic. I don't think she meant like it really took 10 years. I think she meant like it takes a long time. I think that's what she meant. Narcos do it all the time. Okay, I'm not talking about that before YouTube blocks me. The problem with Panama City is that it's a linear city. It goes east to west. 40K can get you what you are looking for. 40K where, Christy? Not in Avenida Balboa. B girl, good topic. You should do a part 2. I would definitely do a part 2, my love. Morris Campbell, you are amazing. You are great sport. I actually really like you because you're very opinionated and you don't back down. I like those type of people. So I need you back in my chats because you keep it pumping. Wow, that price definitely down 40K. I don't know about the 40K. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. KFC and Popeyes always better abroad. I don't know about KFC. KFC in Panama, KFC in Jamaica and Trinidad though is really good, but KFC is disgusting here. Popeyes is really good. In Cologne, a good place to live now. Is Cologne a good place to live now, or is there still crime? There's crime everywhere, but there are parts of Cologne. I actually know a realtor that's actually selling a place. She's selling homes in Cologne in a gated community. I'm sorry, guys. My phone just keeps on ringing. All right, guys. I have 5 more minutes. I'm actually going to sign off on Instagram. So if you're on Instagram and you can log on onto YouTube, I'm going to turn this off because my phone just keeps on ringing, and I want to just get through these last points before I leave. 5 more minutes. Okay, I'll stay here for 5 more minutes. All right. It could be health reasons. It could be health reasons. Like I said, I'm talking from my personal opinion. I'm Panamanian. I live in Texas, and your Spanish is good enough. Yes, it is, but mira, hay veces cuando estoy hablando español, hay ciertas cosas que yo no sé cómo decirlo. Entonces mi español hay veces es un poco machucado, pero no importa porque mi familia me entiende, so whatever. Let's go. Panama isn't a third world like isn't third world like that. Popeyes, there's Benihana's, Pizza Hut. Yes, there is a lot of American franchises. They used to have what was the name of that other one? IHOP, and they closed down during the pandemic. I think now there's like one. Looks like Panama is growing in spurs. Panama is not for the weak. Panama is not for the weak. Not any and anybody can survive Panama. Exactly, global recession, certification. I'm going her profession. Guys, I don't even know what you guys are talking about. I'm just seeing like a lot of comments, and I'm like so confused as to what you guys talk about. Yes, foreigners can't have certain jobs. That was hard for your nail tech. Yeah, it's sad. Let's see. Yeah, I don't like KFC and Panama either, Thomas. You and I, we're here. Okay, we're here. We're here. You won't believe that getting Medicaid certified is one of the goals in free trade business between U.S. and Panama. Well, if that is one of the goals, I would hope that it would work. But for right now, people are leaving because of that. Yes, KFC in Jamaica. KFC in Jamaica is the best. Guys, it's so many comments here. So imagine if Panama was being invaded by the gringos. Wait until they get treatment in Panama using Medicare. You gotta subscribe. Honestly speaking, I'm not gonna tell you that Panama has bad doctors. For God's sakes, I had my daughter here in Panama, okay? And I'm gonna tell you my experience, my prenatal experience here was amazing, okay? There's parking. The way they treat pregnant people is completely different from the way the states treat pregnant people. So with that being said, I'm not about to sit up here and be like, oh, like this, the healthcare system. But I'm also, I'm young and I'm not full of like, knock on wood, I'm not full of any like severe medical issues or anything like that. So thank you, Morris. Okay. All right, yes, we're gonna do a part 2, guys, because the reason why I usually was doing my lives on Sundays, but then it became very difficult because I have a newborn baby. Well, she's like 5 months now. So Okay, Panamanian Doll says, I just want to read this comment here on Instagram. Panamanian Doll said, Panama is a third world, baby. Panama is the only first world, is only first world if you have money. People mindset is so third world. Not only that, but people struggling big time. See, now I want to go to Jamaica to try KFC. You got to, girl. KFC in Jamaica is the bomb. You see, when I did a video and I said that Panama was third world with the mentality, and people try to rip my head off, like cut it off. They came for me. They cursed me out. They called me. What did this guy call me? He called me an obnoxious American. You know, they went in for me, and someone else is saying that, and now I'm like, whatever. You know, it's okay. Oh my God, guys, the comments is so much. All right, guys, I gotta go. It's 7:00. This was an amazing topic. For the people that are coming in, I'm going to actually save it so you guys can catch this on the replay. If you thought that this conversation was fun and it was great, please give it a thumbs up. I'm definitely gonna do a part 2. I'm actually going to change my live schedule to actually Tuesdays, guys, because Tuesdays is a slow day for me. So if you guys can just work with me, I'm not going to do live anymore on Sundays. My lives are going to be on Tuesdays at the same time. It's actually going to be 5:30. I don't need about it's 6:30, 6 o'clock your time. I'm actually going to change it, but I'm going to, excuse me, I'm going to, what's the word I want to say? I'm going to let you guys know in advance what the topic is so you guys can get your questions and everything up. If you guys liked this live video, please hit the like button, please. It's free 99. It's free, okay? All of y'all that's in here, hit the like. It is free, and it also helps me to engage, okay? So I can get my engagement up. Yeah, okay. I'm going, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. And as usual, till next time, peace and love. I love you guys. See you next time.